Vince McMahon has blamed low ratings, apparently not to do with COVID-19, but the fact we've not had as much of Brock Lesnar. Now, apparently, due to the fact that there's a lot of new talent on Monday Night Raw, that is why we are currently experiencing low ratings on Raw on Monday nights instead of having big monster ratings like we did back in the day. Now, that is what has been expressed on reports according to ringsidenews.com, and I'm now going to give my viewpoint on it and why I personally think that WWE has put themselves in this position. Now, you could argue that this actually is false because Brock Lesnar's worked more dates this year than he has done for many years, and over the last 12 months has done over the last many years, and the ratings are free falling. And particularly at this stage at the moment, you can argue because of what is going on and the shows in front of no audience. We've got an empty feeling when we watch these shows. We're getting the show and we should be very grateful, but should be very thankful. And the fact that we do have a lot of new talent, and arguably, yes, we do. But the question is, why has WWE not made stars the level of Brock Lesnar over the last number of years? You can argue that Roman Reigns is probably on that level. They're kind of trying to build the Fiend at the moment. They've had failed attempts with so many other stars. Seth Rollins could be argued as one. Braun Strowman can be another. They've tried with a few others and just always legitimately failed. Now, why is it not working? Because a lot of the time it comes down to this 50-50 booking, and I think it goes actually as far back as some of these what are called glory years of WrestleManias, where we got dream match after dream match after dream match, which then turned into part-timer, part-timer, part-timer. You go back to the years of 2009, 2008, 2010, and you've got these great matches, maybe The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, what arguably one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time, and you've got these big mega matches like that thrown on there. But what happens to all those superstars that were not on the card on that year and had been working the whole year? We go into that part-time schedule now, which we see yearly now. Undertaker comes back for his WrestleMania match. We see, the likes of Brock Lesnar is a part-timer. Goldberg comes back as a part-timer. And we're seeing those people get the big profile matches, and you're not using WrestleMania as your platform to build those new stars. And I think that is where a lot of this goes, because of course, year on year, WWE has this attitude of building stars to a certain point, but then the rug gets pulled from beneath them. They don't get the opportunity to get to that position at the top of the card. And at the pay-per-views that matter, they're nowhere to be found. Yes, okay, they may be headlining a B pay-per-view, TLC in December. They may be headlining Backlash, one of probably the least ones. Stomping Grounds. Who even remembers Stomping Grounds? Yes, it was actually a pay-per-view last year. But you look at it and say, when it comes to WrestleMania, a lot of the time, those stars don't get their moments. Now, you might turn around and say to me, but Steve, Kofi Mania was last year. Yes, Kofi Mania was last year, but here comes the thing. On the years that they do it, what happens the next year? Where is Kofi Kingston this year in WrestleMania? He was in a throw-together ladder match that was halfway through the card of the first night of WrestleMania. Now, had that been a full-length normal WrestleMania, that would have been stuffed, lost in the shuffle, nowhere on the card. Daniel Bryan was the WWE champion last year. He's challenging for the IC championship this year. You look at it and you take those variables of those sorts of superstars that say, you were there in that big profile last year. This year, where are you? No one that was in that position last year was there this year. You have to remember that if people only watch WrestleMania, you look at Braun Strowman is a classic example. Braun Strowman is someone who has been booked for WWE Championship matches, and it gets to the point where the casual viewers come in for WrestleMania. He has Nicholas and a minor as his tag team partner, becoming tag team champions. He wins Andre the Giant's Memorial Battle Royal, which I believe is on the kickoff, and this year he goes and wins the Universal Championship, which arguably he would not have been on the card at all had Roman Reigns not been there. So you look at it and say, well, what happens next year? Well, Braun Strowman has to be in that championship picture. The Fiend, after he defeats John Cena, needs to be in a high-profile picture. Drew McIntyre defeated Brock Lesnar, has to be in a high-profile picture. AJ Styles was the main event of night one, has to be towards that top of the card picture. Those four superstars need to be remembered year on year. Now, I'm going to compare this to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I am a casual fan of New Japan. I do not watch it week in, week out. and year in and year, I pick the biggest shows and I watch them. I watch Wrestle Kingdom, I watch New Year's Dash, which of course is like the Raw after Mania. I watch Dominion, and I may watch one or two other high-profile shows throughout the year. But the rest of the time, I might read, I might slightly keep up with certain bits. I don't watch New Japan to a full-time level, and I think it gives a good excuse then of looking, going, well, I am an outsider looking in, and what do I see that's different each year? Well, a lot of the time, someone that's high profile one year is high profile the next year. Someone that wins a big match one year is back in a big match the next year. You have to look at someone like Jay White, who's worked himself up the card, was actually in one of the main event spots, and actually then gets himself, down to just under the main event sort of spots. You've got those kind of areas. Kenny Omega worked himself up to the top. Tanahashi, Okada, all these superstars that build themselves year on year. You can see progression, and I think that that's something I don't see in WWE. When I look at WWE, I think these people are in the exact same spot or worse off each going year. And if I turned around and I saw someone, I thought to myself, do you know what? I actually see progression with that character. You're more likely to be invested. Now, with certain characters, that does happen. But the thing is, though, they don't get their moment in the sun. It is the same champions, and arguably a lot of the time, they are part-time champions. How many years have we seen Brock Lesnar come into WrestleMania as one of the champions? How many years is Goldberg around? The Undertaker is around. I'm not saying I don't want to see these people on WrestleMania, but I don't want them to take someone's spots of where they could be key. Brock Lesnar could be someone to elevate someone each and every year. Now, you can argue, well, Brock's lost the last 2 year WrestleManias, but I mean, Seth Rollins, yeah, he was in a fairly high-profile situation, but as you can see, they couldn't capitalise on what they did the year before, and that's what they need to start working on doing, is that they can't get to a certain point with a superstar and then let it fail. They have to make sure that they can build new characters, new stars going forward, and we're in what you could argue is an exciting time in wrestling, because it's almost like when we got back to 2002. Now, I've been watching the Ruthless Aggression series on the WWE Network. Highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. And you can turn around and say, well, do you know what? You've got that opening bit where Vince McMahon's got everyone around the ring, and he's almost saying, I'm looking for my next star. This is a time where he's looking for his next star. Brock Lesnar is not around wrestling at the minute. Roman Reigns is not around because of what's going on with the current situation. It is time to make a new star. Now, Drew McIntyre is being booked well currently. He is on the right direction, but you need to do it with other superstars as well. It's not about the one. You had in the Attitude Era, you had 9 or 10 people that could fit that main event area, and it fitted and it seemed legit. You had in the Ruthless Aggression era superstars over 2 shows that could do that. You need to do it once again. Now, we've got people that you can argue, yeah, they fit the part, they fit the role, but you need to be able to make a megastar or 2 or 3 megastars in the company. If you can make stars that are that big and that much of an attraction that people want to come in and view them, your ratings will shoot through the roof again. You can't just rely on the WWE brand. Yes, it does work, but as you can see, it works to a certain level. If you have an Austin, a Rock, a Cena kind of level star in your company, it brings more eyes to the prize. And that is, I think, where WWE is currently lacking, and where I feel, in my opinion, they should be building towards to get those stars and to get those numbers up in the future. Now, you can argue and turn around and say that that is what Vince says in that sentence, that he says, well, we've got new talent on Raw, the ratings will eventually go up. It depends how you book those stars, because if those stars are not booked correctly, it is not going to work. And that is something that's very key from this, and it's something that's gone back many years, where you turn around and say a lot of superstars should have been top guys and they weren't. You look at Wade Barrett is a great example. Sheamus is another. There are multiple different, Dean Ambrose, those people that could have, should have, and they didn't get the opportunity. They've not stayed there. You've got superstars that I think, you've got plenty of superstars that are those upper, just under main event level talents, but I don't see many megastars in WWE, and I want to start seeing them. That's all from this particular video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please like, share and subscribe. Please spread the word of SCW. Ask SCW will be coming for you tomorrow on this channel. So get your questions in the hashtag AskSCW. I'll be addressing it, giving you a shout out and answering it in the video. That's all from me. Thank you for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time here on YouTube.com. All the best.